Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. Over the past few weeks, the band Greta Van Fleet has been actually getting a lot of requests in my comments and on my social media. A lot of people recommending the Michigan hard rock and blues rock band. They have a new album out. It's their second full-length record. It's titled From the Fires. Both albums have received pretty warm fan reviews from what I've caught on websites like Album of the Year and Rate Your Music and so on and so forth. A lot of people seem really passionate about the band. And one of the first things people tell me when they recommend the band to me is, Anthony, you need to hear this band, Greta Van Fleet. They sound so much like Led Zeppelin. And I mean, they kind of live up to that promise. I mean, when you listen to the band's music, one of the first things you get hit with are just those blues rock riffs, the Jimmy Page influenced, very passionate, very melodic, very expressive guitar soloing. And of course, the lead singer, who in a lot of ways is like a dead ringer for Robert Plant. So the drumming is okay, you know, it's pretty strong, but it's not like blowing me away or anything. And the bass lines are, you know, not quite Led Zeppelin quality in my opinion. Led Zeppelin had some amazing bass playing over the years, but those two main focuses, the guitar and the vocals, are really kind of enough to sell people on the idea, whoa, this sounds just like Led Zeppelin. And again, aesthetically, in a lot of ways, it does. And my question here is, at what point does a band sound too much like another band, sound too much like one of their very obvious major, if not almost singular influences at this point? At what point does a band just sound too much like another band for people to kind of get on board? I'm not really sure. I don't think there's a definitive answer to that question. I know there's a particular line for me, and in my opinion, Greta Van Fleet really kind of crosses it. They cross it really hard, I would say. Like, they cross it really unashamedly. They're like backflipping over the line. I would say that maybe, and this is also a timely example because this band also sort of broke onto the scene sounding a lot like Led Zeppelin. However, they kind of broke away into a lot of different rock styles from the 60s and 70s. You know, their latest record to me reminds me quite a bit of The Doors, but the band that I'm thinking of is Rival Sons. And their debut record, Pressure in Time, like when these guys came out, especially their biggest singles to come off of that album, and I thought the record was okay, sounded a lot like Led Zeppelin. And however, I wouldn't say I would have heard it and thought that it was Led Zeppelin. Like Greta Van Fleet, as much as when I get into the nitty-gritty and get into the details of their music, there are some shortcomings, there are some compositional and elements of musicianship that I think made Led Zeppelin's music a bit deeper. However, if I wasn't being told that this was a Greta Van Fleet album, I might have thought I was listening to some sort of like, I don't know, Led Zeppelin B-side or something, or some unreleased material, or just like some long lost tapes or whatever. And I don't know, man. I think sure, you know, those elements of musicianship that I think Greta Van Fleet fall a little short on do keep me from enjoying their music as probably as much as I do Zeppelin's. However, if they really did kind of hit all the marks, would I enjoy their stuff as much as Zeppelin's? Should I enjoy their stuff as much as Zeppelin's? I mean, if it sounds exactly like Led Zeppelin, to the point where it's like a dead ringer for Led Zeppelin, why wouldn't I enjoy it? You know, why not? I mean, it sounds exactly like this thing that I already enjoy, and it's just as good as this thing that I already enjoy. Why not enjoy it? You know, it's as far as I could tell, it all kind of tastes the same to my ears. You know, I guess it's kind of the difference between eating on-brand or off-brand cereal or whatever. Sure, I mean, there are cultural and legitimate anachronistic differences, between comparing artists, new artists and old artists who seem to have this deep, influential connection to going one way, obviously, to each other. However, I feel like it's a comparison that's not too far off. So if it all tastes the same to me, why wouldn't I enjoy it? What's the big deal? The answer to that is I really don't know. I guess I just don't. I guess that's where sort of marketing kind of comes in. You know what I mean? And sort of understanding and appreciating the history of popular music, and especially of the kind of music that Greta Van Fleet are playing. And to know that I'm just kind of listening to some lesser version of something that came much later than the original, than the best of the best of the best, than the groundbreaking stuff, is, a little less exciting to me, I suppose. However, for most people who seem to not have that border separating them, preventing them from enjoying the band's music, they seem to really like it. And I don't begrudge them that. It sounds fine, for this style of hard rock. And I get that with rock just not being as popular in the mainstream as it used to be, this sort of stuff every once in a while, people are just going to feel super nostalgic for it. They're going to wish it was back. They're going to wish it was still here. They're going to wish it was still doing numbers. They're going to wish it was still as popular as it used to be. And bands like Greta certainly provide people the ability to sort of get that contemporary feel, get that confirmation that everything is going to be okay, and that this particular sound, this idea, this musical concept is not completely evaporated or disappeared in the age of trap rap. However, I promise all of you guys in the internet age, nothing really truly ever will die. There's always going to be some group or some artist out there who's like, I want to make some goth rock. I want to make hip hop, but I want to make hip hop that sounds like it's from 1983. I want to, do new jazz with crazy jazz electronic music fusions. I want to make bluegrass, but like progressive bluegrass that's like super flashy and super technical. There's always going to be room. There's always going to be a place where that's happening, because people are going to be able to home record. People are going to be able to put their stuff up on the internet. They're going to be able to upload it onto sites where they pretty much have total creative freedom, like SoundCloud and Bandcamp and so on and so forth, YouTube, whatever. So there's always going to be a place where that's happening. It's just kind of a matter of going out there and finding it. And Greta Van Fleet, I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing, but for whatever reason, whether it be just kind of those technical shortcomings or the fact that it's just not as above and beyond as Led Zeppelin was. It just kind of merely feels like a revisit to, in a milder version. It's just not really doing too much for me, but for those who just kind of love this sound, love this style, and they just kind of want to hear more variations within it, more sounds within it, a new band kind of keeping the sound alive, Greta Van Fleet is probably your band, but for me personally, it's just crossing whatever border I have imagined in my own head, where a group just sounds so much like another group that I just don't see the point. I guess I just don't see the point. But that's me. That's my opinion, and that's all it is. Honestly, it's just my personal preference. But let me know what you guys think down in the description box. Is Greta Van Fleet the band for you? Are you into this band? Do they not sound too much like Led Zeppelin in your opinion? Do you like the fact that they sound like Led Zeppelin and other hard rock groups from the 60s and 70s? Is that just kind of your sound? Is that just kind of your vibe? And to have another band out there, young or old, similar or not similar, kind of keeping that sound alive, is that what's most important to you? Let me know down in the comments. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out on this channel. You can do that, or you can click on the link to subscribe to this channel. And we will see you guys in the next one. Do the best forever.